All right, class, this is video 2 of short specific instructions. We just discussed basically how to shorten your timeline of instruction into smaller segments. So now we're going to refer over to how Pangrazi or Dr. Pangrazi actually gives out the commands, what it sounds like, okay? So if you notice, and if you go back and watch the videos again from Dr. Pangrazi, you'll notice that when he speaks and give commands, both Dr. Pangrazi and Mrs. Pangrazi, I should say, that there always is what we call, or what he calls, when before what. When before what means that the instruction of when it's going to take place comes before the what, or the subject, or the task, or the objective. Okay, and they use it and express it by this phrase here: when I say go. Okay, and so what that does, it gives the specific command when to listen and when to act. That's very, very important. And the reason why it's important is because you're breaking up the timeline of instruction into smaller pieces, and you're breaking your instructions down so it can be manageable. You're going to have kids um, exercising and practicing and moving, and then immediately you're going to have to freeze them to get their attention, just like you saw in the video, and then you're going to have to give instruction. And because you're stopping them from movement, but you got to give them vital instruction, you got to be able to do it quick. And by giving the when, meaning the time of when they're going to do it, before the what or the objective, that kind of forces them to kind of listen to the entire piece of instruction before they can get back to practicing. Okay, so we're going to have you go back to the video and watch and look for these things and also practice it. It also provides, okay, it also forces teachers to be short and specific, and also breaks down that timeline to what we talked about earlier. So this is an example. Okay, so when I say go, find an elbow partner. Ready, set, go. We want you to get into the habit of being able to say the when before the what. The other way of just saying that would be to find an elbow partner. A lot of times when we just say things without a specific a command to execute, a lot of times kids decide when they want to execute that command. And so we're basically putting a specific time on when we want that specific objective to be done. Okay. So, for example, if we look at this example here of finding an elbow partner, this is something pretty common in partnering up kids in classes, which is to go out and, actually reference touching their elbows, because then that signifies that they're in a partnership. So one would simply say, when I say go, find an elbow partner. Ready, set, go. And during that time, kids will listen and then execute that. But you have to practice using that. Another way to do it would be to, as you get better, is to add maybe 2 or 3 objectives. Not too many, because then it can get really long, but 2 or 3 is very simple and very basic. So another example would be, let's say we want them to start grabbing a ball and start passing with a partner. Okay, we would say something very simple as, class, on my go, grab a ball and pass with partner. Ready, go. And they go out and execute that. So one, it starts to help them to realize I have to listen to everything before I go out there. And it makes it short and specific. Now, the other thing about that is when we utilize when before what, it's basically like a remote control to pause your students, to get them to listen, and then to press play to get them to execute.